AITA for abandoning my siblings? I am not the original poster. That is you, AITA87 throwaway. She posted in r, am I the asshole? Trigger warning. Homophobia. Less than. Mood spoiler. Sad. Less than. Original post. May 13th, 2023. I'm not so sure how to format this, other than just jumping right into it. I, F17, am the oldest of 3 living with my 2 siblings, F14 and M10, and our mother. Our father left when my brother was born, and afterwards we moved states closer to family for help. Since then I've been helping my mom with raising my siblings the best I can. We've had family come over to help when I was busy and my mom was at work. But for the most part it was just the 4 of us. When we moved, I was placed back in school as soon as I could be. I've always been more quiet than most, and living in a new state only made the social awkwardness worse. But eventually, I met another girl around my age, and we started to become good friends. The girl, Alana, and I started doing a lot together. It only took a couple years, if not less, to be considered like family. A little over 5 months ago, Alana and I started dating. We took it very slow, and kept it to ourselves. Last month when we hit 5 months, she convinced me to tell my mom. She was fine with the ex-boyfriends I've had, and based off prior comments seemed to support the LGBTQ+ community. Last Sunday, I decided to tell her. Alana spent the night, because she wanted to be with me when I told my mom. So in the morning we both sat her down with us at the dining room table. When we told her, she freaked out. She said all sorts of Angie things at us. My girlfriend and I tried to keep our cool, but before the conversation was over I was in tears and she was clearly pissed. That was the only time I've ever swore at my mother. I left the house for a few hours. I needed to relax and calm down before making any hasty decisions. When I returned later, I opened the door to see my suitcase packed and sitting next to the couch. I took the hint, grabbed it, and left again. I've been staying with Alana since. But it's difficult because her parents don't know about us either. And they just know my mom and I got into an argument. This week my phone's been blowing up with family members criticizing me for leaving my siblings and mom like that. I can only assume they've been given one half of the story. But maybe I'm wrong. My mom hasn't called or messaged since. I feel sorry. But at the same time I don't know if she understands how she hurt me. So Reddit, am I the jerk here? Relevant comments. Why did Alana convince you to tell your mom? She wanted to start easing into who we told. Our friends knew, but that was them more finding out than being told. She wanted to tell hers, too, but because of the remarks my mom made before, which made it seem like she supported the community, thought it'd be better to start with her. Now that I think about it, my mom didn't yell at Alana as much as she did me. I guess she's one of those, they're fine, just not related to me, people or something. Seeing the number of comments about this, I guess I should have clarified better. Alana wanted to tell her parents too, but thought it'd be easier to tell my mom first because she seemed like she'd be more supportive. It's also easier to tell one before telling two. It wasn't so much convincing me to tell my mom, but the two of us to start coming out together, starting with my mom. Now we're both scared to tell anyone else. Is it possible your mom was more upset about you sharing a bed than anything else? Well, the lack of a platonic relationship doesn't imply a sexual one. We didn't say anything like that. Just that we were now romantically involved. Another commenter also said that we probably should have told her first. And they're probably right. Hindsight is 20/20 and all. I've mentally blocked out a lot of what was said. Truth be told, I'd love to give direct quotes for context, but I just can't. But I have to believe that if it was mentioned during the start of the argument that her issue was It's not telling her. It wouldn't have ended up with me in tears and on someone else's couch. Oop is voted NTA. Update post. May 20th, 2023. In my last post, a lot of you sent some sweet comments my way. I appreciate all the support. Even some of the more controversial comments did provide some great insight. I took a lot of these to heart, and went to see if I can fix things. Firstly, I called my father. Our relationship is strained, being separated and not seeing each other often. But he's made it to some of my bigger events since the divorce. Double digits. Sweet 16. Mostly birthday stuff but sometimes other things. He never wanted us to move away. Just felt he couldn't handle a third kid at the time. I digress. I called him, and it went to voicemail. I found myself crying into the phone as I relived the past 2 weeks. But I made sure to word it as, "Mom kicked me out because I have a girlfriend." He called back a few hours later and said he'd see what he can do to help, and will keep me updated, and ask me to do the same. Secondly, on Tuesday, I talked to Alana about us telling her parents. Between people saying I should to get their support and those saying I shouldn't in fear of more backlash, it wasn't an easy choice. I was hoping worst case scenario, my dad would be able to help. And in the best case, we'd have 3 adults rooting for us. She was hesitant, seeing how things went with my mom, but ultimately agreed. We sat her parents down similarly to my mom. When I say we, I really mean she did most of the talking. I was still worried things would go wrong. She started off by simply explaining why I've been here for over a week during class finals. We tried coming out to my mom, which created an argument, and led to me getting kicked out. Her father said he wished we had told him sooner. And, "I'm sorry for failing you too. For making this feel like an unsafe place to be who you are." Alana's stepmom and dad talked for a few minutes before coming back with new rules. They wanted their couch back, if that meant dusting off the air mattress from when we were kids, or just getting some extra blankets. They didn't really care. We do us, so long as it isn't illegal and we don't get into trouble. But that said, since I was now under their roof in a slightly less temporary way, I'd have to start following the same rules Alana did. Curfew, grades, things like that, all of which I agreed to. Her parents are going to take us back to my house today. I want to give my mom another chance. I mean, I don't get how you can just walk away from someone after your entire life. I'm either going to get the documents I need, or my mom back. In the latter case, I still don't know if I'm going to go back to sleeping there quite yet. I'm still hurt. After talking to my sister, she understands and would rather me stay away if needed. My brother's a little confused, but says he just wants us all to be happy. Thank you all again for your overwhelming support and advice. Oop has note updated since her last post. I sincerely hope she is okay. I heard a joke with a similar premise to a girl coming out to her parents saying she was dating her best friend. He said something along the lines of, "Hey, thanks for telling us, but you know the sleepovers can't happen anymore, right?" I think it was Josh Wolf. It also had the son admitting that he was hanging out with an Armenian gang. Pretty funny stuff. I hope Oop is okay and she gets to update that she at least have 3 adults in her and her GF's corner. Fuck that mom. Any parent who kicks their kid out for being LGBTQ+ shouldn't even be considered a parent. Mom is trying to drive a wedge between Oop and her siblings and other family members. Probably to make sure she doesn't turn her siblings gay. And no one from the family supports her. So mom doesn't look like the only asshole. I hope Oop finds her way in life and the support system she deserves. I wish her and her GF the best. Red heart. Over a quarter of queer youths experience homelessness at some point. For trans kids, That number is closer to 40%. Queer kids are also at high risk for suicide, but the prevalence of suicide drops down to the same percentage as cis, hetero kids when they have supportive homes. The situation was already rough for so many of these kids. The anti-LGBTQ legislation, particularly targeting trans youth, is going to make things worse. I didn't feel safe to come out until I was 26. I never thought I would watch progress move backward like this. So Oop helped raise her siblings from the age of 7. But now that the youngest is 10, she is abandoning them? Anyone see the issue with that logic? A 7-year-old girl is a caregiver. But a 10-year-old boy is what? Incapable of surviving home alone? Something tells me they were expecting her to take care of the family financially. I was literally just having this conversation with a friend today. You should not have kids if you aren't prepared to love them 100% whoever they are. The mother's just pissed off she lost a babysitter. So disappointed with the OOP's dad's response. I'll see what I can do, keep me posted. Poor Oop. Wonder if mom is part of the reason for dad leaving. May 20th, 2023. Oh, it's been a week. Like I have such an awful feeling of dread. I really hope she's okay. I just don't understand a reaction like this. I grew up Christian. My daughter came out to me as bi a few years ago. She's now an adult. My reaction was essentially, okay, so I might get another daughter-in-law instead of a son-in-law. As long as you are happy, I don't care. My husband just said he was used to dealing with women. What's another one? But to expect any person to get treated the same when you bring them home. Male or female. And you can always come to us if you are getting abused from either gender. People were surprised by our mild reaction. Obviously they didn't know us very well. Considering my ex-best friend of 17 years was bi and my husband's ex-roommate was gay. Her happiness is far more important to us than appearances. And our beliefs apply only to us. No one else, including our children, have to live by our personal beliefs. Sometimes I have to check my words before I speak. Like making sure I ask if she has a new partner instead of boyfriend. But that comes from years of automatic thoughts, not from disapproval. Homophobes and racists are such pointless wastes of space. I honestly can't imagine tossing my kid out over a thing like sexuality. My heart always hurts so much for LGBTQ+ kids whose parents kick them out, who do anything other than love and support their kids. I truly hope Whoop is doing okay. Is there any kind of law to punish people who kick out their children? I don't mean some kind of interpretation of an obscure, unknown law. I mean a clear way to hold accountable this kind of unfit parents. A way that doesn't require years of litigation. And this woman on top of everything has been parentifying her daughter all her childhood. The poor girl. I don't know how any mother can turn their back on their child because of their sexuality. As a parent you may not agree with your child's choices, but you always should be there to support them. If a child can't rely on a parent who is supposed to love them unconditionally, who can they rely on? Thankfully for OP that her GF are the caring, judgmental loving people they are. It went badly. But the kid did something smart. If you come out, when you come out try to do it one-on-one or with one supportive person to the person you're coming out to. People have questions and expectations and those are easier to manage if you aren't outnumbered. Is the mom allowed to kick out a minor child like that? Is it legal for parents to do that? What are the legal responsibilities of the parents? I'm mostly thinking from a US perspective.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.